we finally got to an episode where Jarvis and I are going to fight. Jarvis and I are going to fight this episode.
Yeah, get ready. Get those fisticuffs up.
For once, I liked a movie that Jarvis didn't. I actually have strong emotions about this movie. I love this movie.
Yeah. I have renamed this movie Blah Blah Bland.
Anyways, I'm starting a Patreon for full-time movie fans where you get to watch me put my knuckles against Jarvis's jaw as quickly as I can.
It's okay. My beard is going to absorb all the shock. So minimal damage. The move
I'll show
was not
you minimal
effective.
damage.
So he's going to try to convince me that because I think we talked about it. We did last night in Soho. If you've seen that movie and have opinions about it, you can go watch that review. But through the course of that review, he convinced me that, Last Night in Soho is not great at all.
And there's absolutely nothing Jarvis can say about this movie that's going to convince me it's bad.
Yeah, I'm not, that's not a goal of mine. It's just,
I also know that's
personal
not a goal of yours.
Yeah. So, hey, first off, because we don't do this a lot, spoiler reviews. If you haven't seen this movie, it's been out. It was what,
2016. You should watch it. It's very good.
So almost 9 years ago. That's crazy. That's kind of crazy. And this is Full-Time Movie Fans, where all your movie review dreams come true.
Michael.
Jarvis. It's us.
Let's get into it. So my first impressions of this movie, I saw it while it was still in theaters. Hunter, God bless him, approached me. Yeah, may he rest in peace.
He's not with us.
I'll see him literally next week. When he's in his show that he's in.
Yeah, but literally he's not here with us. He's
with us in spirit, and I would like to think that he would want to be here for this one. But instead, he'll listen to me fight for the right that is to love this movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely losing points with Hunter, which I really hate over this one.
I already told Jarvis beforehand that I have an ace in the hole for if he doesn't come to the side of loving this movie. That's just going to make him feel bad about himself.
Forced love is not love. So
no, you'll choose it.
I will make sure that you choose it.
So Hunter basically approached me and was like, "Hi, have you seen this movie yet?" And I said, "No, I have no idea what it even is." And he said, "Don't look anything up. Do not look at what other people are saying about it. You are coming to see it with me tonight." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "It's my third time seeing it. It's been out for a week." And I went, "Oh, okay." And I went, and I loved it, and I watched it like 4 more times in theaters, and then I bought it when it came out on DVD and Blu-ray, and I made it my personality for like 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I literally watched it for the first time yesterday. I mean, yeah, okay. The story didn't really blow me away. There was nothing groundbreaking to me about the story and their particular story. The singing was great. I enjoyed the musical aspect of it, but
I'm going to endeavor to hear you out for as long as possible so that we can get to discourse later.
I mean,
I want to hear your full take before we get to...
it's very simple. Like, the story is just, it seems very basic to me. It didn't seem like a new story. It's a story I've seen before. I love Emma Stone. I really enjoy watching Ryan Gosling. Like, I think he does good movies. I enjoy watching him act, and I think he's a great actor. I wouldn't say either of them are like great singers, but it's good. I've seen other musicals. I just like other musicals better. I don't know. It was okay. Like, it was okay. I'm sorry, guy. I just don't. There was nothing crazy about the story to me, and I'm hoping I missed something. Like, I've missed things in movies. Like, I had to have my absolutely real friend Clint described to me Annihilation and why it was good and like what it was meaning. Like
I like to think Clint loved this movie as well.
he did, I think. So
And I can tell you the kinds of people who would and wouldn't like this movie.
yeah, I don't know. Like
you
I'm
give me
open-
a basic description of a person, I'll tell you whether or not they love this movie.
well, his favorite movie is Pulp Fiction.
Just for you to know.
I've told you that before.
Just so you know, my wife is also kind of on the fence about this movie, but she straight up
Leans
was
more.
just saying like she didn't like the movie for most of it.
Yeah, I didn't not like it. Okay, well, okay.
You said
Let me
it
take
was
back.
just okay.
Yes,
which
okay,
is fine.
But here's the thing. Okay, I want to acknowledge the fact that like the time in your life, the people that you're with, you know, your mood state when you watch it, where you environment, like you watched it in theater. I just watched it in my living room. So all those things I think affect our perspectives on movies. Like you know your presuppositions about a movie.
Well, you see, where I would agree with you on this, I went in and rewatched this a few days ago with Sybil, to where she was like, last time I watched this, it was just okay. And the whole time, I said that we should watch this movie just because we're going to LA next week, and I wanted to get a couple of little things in there just to be excited about it. I remember it being a very LA heavy movie, which I'm sure you can agree to.
Yeah.
And I was worried that my nostalgia goggles on this movie were going to make it to where I come back and I go, you know what? It's just an okay movie. For how much I loved it before, it's just an okay movie. And that's not what happened at all. Don't tell my wife. I cried. She doesn't know this 3 times in separate parts of the movie. She doesn't know that I did that.
Dude, I'm such an emotional person, and I'm a like, I don't know if you guys have seen the show Psych. It's one of my favorite shows ever. I'm like Gus. I'm a sympathetic crier. This one didn't hit any deep emotional notes for me. Like, and I wanted to say this. So my true first impression, I was watching it with my ex. We started watching it together, and I thought, look, when I went to watch it yesterday, I was like, you know what? Maybe I was feeling the vibes off of her that she wasn't liking it. And so I was just kind of like, maybe this is mid. And then we decided to not watch any further. I think we watched not even the first like third of the movie. Like maybe we got 30 minutes into it. We're just like, meh. And so we decided to do something different with our night. So I had that in my head as like, okay, maybe that tainted. Let me rewatch this and see it, try to see it through a new perspective, new eyes. And man, it just didn't really resonate or connect with me in any deep, even emotional way that I'm just like, oh, like this is so touching to me. Like I didn't bust out any tissues.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't have any part. Do you like the characters?
Yeah, I mean, they're great. I always love Emma Stone. She gives...
No, that's not what I'm asking. Do you like the characters?
They don't seem very deep to me as people. Like, their
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair thing to say.
Their conflict is so basic. Like, even watching them when the conflict first happened, I was like, this is such a dumb thing for them to be upset at each other about. The thing that like started, I was just kind of like, to a certain extent, okay, like I can kind of understand, but I was like, I don't know, I don't think it was as big as the reaction of that's what started the breakup was just like, man, that seems like I don't know, it just seemed like a weak reason to like break up a whole relationship over. Like there was, I think if he was a little less defensive and stuff like that, I don't know, man. I just convince me, man. I'm ready to be convinced.
You think that's how this works, Jarvis? You think I just sit here and I convince you that a movie that I love is good because I love it?
I mean, I'm open to. I'd like to think that I have an open mind. I'm willing to see a different perspective that might change my mind on it. I'm not. I can be very opinionated, believe it or not. Um, but I also believe that, like, you know what? I've had greater appreciation for some movies after hearing or seeing a different perspective.
I have had that before too. There's one that I
Except
notoriously hate.
Game night.
No. This is another like Hunter dispute between me. Me and Hunter have different opinions about one specific movie. Do you want to know what it is?
He loved it and you hated it. we got that out. I don't think it was the Sinners episode, but maybe it was the Sinners episode.
Yeah, he did. We did get that out of Hunter. He loves Game Night.
Oh, dude, he got so many respect points from me.
Yeah, it's true.
I love that movie.
Have you ever seen Promising Young Woman?
No.
I hated that movie. And Hunter, after I talked to him about it, he was like, you are looking at it in a very different way than I think it's intended.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe I am.
Yeah. And
if I am, it makes it marginally better. And if I'm not, it's bad. But I don't want to speak for Hunter and say that he loved Promising Young Woman, but I do know that he enjoyed it.
So I'm you and you are Hunter in this situation. I'm open to hear.
Yeah, but you're not in a. We're not in a. Yeah. It's just like a. It's hard to find like an exact analogy for where we are on this one because you're like, man, it's okay, and I love it, and usually it's I like this movie, and no, it's absolutely awful. So it's weird. We're in a weird place. We're treading new ground here on Full Time Movie Fans.
And you guys get to be, the audience to this.
Yeah.
Character growth. This is our character arcs.
Yeah. So
another. Hey,
we got a couple
me,
minutes.
Another growth thing for me. I promise to not make a Get Out reference in this episode.
Yeah, but you said it just now, so
no. But I'm not making the joke. I've made a promise to not. So
okay,
that's character development for me.
That's
growth.
That's what we call in the industry the promise of a premise. Okay, so I got a few minutes before we need to get into some plot. So I'll give you something to ruminate on, just a little bit. Okay. So I was. It's like 9 years younger than I am now when this movie came out. Am I right about this? Let me make sure. I say 2016. Yeah, it was 2016 when it came out. We're in the year 2025. I was 16 when this came out. Just a crazy number to think about. And Hunter was already graduated by then, so he and I were in similar-ish but slightly different camps at the same time, right? I was in the world's telling me that I'm about to go take the reins and become myself, and Hunter was in the
you were about to grab life by the horns and make it your B word. Yeah.
And I at 16 is actually about the perfect age to say that that's when I learned what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, what I was put here on the earth to do, Jarvis. Oh. And that is to make art and tell stories and change lives. And this movie came out around that time. I wasn't graduating. It was a couple years off. But I had just, this was the year that I took an introduction to editing class and was starting to experiment with fun ideas. I made a short film called Shell of a Man that was a Dora the Explorer-esque horror film. And I was learning to love the things that I did not previously love about movies. In fact, at this point, I did not like watching movies. I thought that they were too long and didn't get to the point very often. And short films did it a lot more for me, and video games did a lot more for me, where I could feel more into the stories of whatever. And I spent a lot more time learning about how movies were made than I did actually watching movies. Like a lot. Like my days at school were cooking up fun things to make with the footage I got from my AV class to edit with. And when I would get home, I would pop on my TV and put on Film Riot, which is
Let's see.
which is a filmmaking YouTube channel that's like, hey, this is how you do this with like $20. That was the kind of stuff that I watched for years. That was the rest of my high school experience was that. While still doing like, I was in theater. I had friends that helped me make stuff in my free time. And that's how I absorbed things for a long time was through the eyes of this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I'm going to do anything that I can to make it happen. Right? So that I want you to ruminate on that. And I'm going to get us into the story of La La Land. Okay?
Okay.
Put yourself in a dreamer's shoes. All right. So La La Land starts out with a big old musical number about being in LA, the choice of which to move out from where you are to go follow your dreams out in LA, which is both a bold but futile task, which is what they kind of try to get across at the very beginning is like, look at me, I'm an individual, I have my own life, I have my own stories, and I have something to bring to the table. Just like everybody else in every single one of these cars.
Yeah, yeah. And just like everyone else.
Yeah,
in LA.
that's how it's introduced, and we see our male protagonist Sebastian in his beat down old school car, replaying jazz over and over, so that when he gets home he can learn how to play the little riffs. He's a big jazz dude, loves jazz, kind of an asshole.
Which he can be because he's extremely good looking. He can get away with that kind of stuff.
That is what I talked to Sybil about is how do you have kind of an asshole, kind of a standoffish character? And the answer is very passionate about what they do and attractive.
Yeah.
Those are the only ways to do it. So yes, you're right.
Dude,
that's how he gets away with
that's
it.
Like, isn't that like almost the tippy top of like privilege is like a good looking musician? Like I feel like that's kind of up there with.
Yeah,
you know
especially and also a controversial take, but not controversial at all. Jazz,
specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
I feel like I would need Steven's take on that.
Steven would disagree with you, but at the same time be like, yeah. So Sebastian is broke, and his favorite jazz club just got turned into a tapas bar, and he's very upset about it.
They just call those strip clubs?
No. Is it? No, that's topless. That's topless.
Topless bar. That's what you said.
No, tapas.
Oh.
Tapas.
I'm just kidding. I know you said tapas.
Yeah. And he's very upset about it. And he is a very serious musician that cares very much about his craft.
Yeah, almost too serious, I would say.
Let's keep that on the top of our heads here, Jarvis, when we're thinking about why this movie is good later. Okay.
You should just bring out a whiteboard.
Just start writing it down. It's like follow me.
I feel like you're that crazy guy.
If we got it right here.
Yeah, I feel like you're that crazy guy from the meme with all the lines connected to. And like, that's your first thing here.
Yeah, I know too much about this movie as well. And he takes a gig playing piano at a restaurant.
Okay.
Where J.K. Simmons is the restaurant owner in this case, which is very fun. And he's kind of trying to negotiate it, like, hey, I'll play some of your set lists and I'll add some of the songs I want to play in there. And he goes, how about you play all of the songs on my set list and none of the ones that you want to? He goes, I also have an idea. What if I play all of the songs on your set list and none of mine? And he goes, great, that's a great idea. Yeah. We'll do that one. Because it always has to be his idea.
Yeah.
And so
I kind of feel like that's the case with us in this movie in this very moment.
Yeah.
Like you're going to accept all of my ideas about this movie because I'm right and you're wrong.
Okay. Sure. And then we switch immediately to Mia's perspective. And Mia, played by Emma Stone, is going to auditions. She wants to be an actress. And is doing the same thing.
That's an important part of being an actor in Hollywood, I'm assuming.
Yeah, is wanting to be one? Or doing the auditions?
Yeah, doing the auditions is an important process.
I think we should say for the people in the back, the important part of the wanting is the doing, right?
I think
It's like the pursuit of
I
the
think
doing.
I can agree with that.
Would you say, Jarvis, that you wanting to do this podcast led to as much action as just going to your day job as it was before you started doing the podcast?
Anywhere.
Would you say that this podcast gets more successful the more we do it, or the more we want to do it?
Like and subscribe. You know what?
This is a very
consistency.
It's a very
for sure, but
very hypothetical, but like really
but
actionable thing.
Sure. And the heart of this is because, there's a love doing something that you just love. Like I love movies, experiencing them and talking about them. So it came from a heart of like I really enjoy doing this thing in my free time.
Yeah. Okay. Great. We're making a connection, guys. Don't worry. I'm cooking.
It's
I'm
on the
cooking over here.
whiteboard. It's on the whiteboard of my mind.
Okay. Great. So Mia is going to auditions. Some of them are obviously very silly and like should not actually turn into things, but she's still not getting called back for those. And she works at the cafe at the Warner Brothers lot that I'm probably going to cry at when I go visit the Warner Brothers lot.
I went there. I saw where it was.
Did?
I've been to the Warner Brothers lot.
That's so cool.
Yeah, because we went on the tour and they said, "Hey, this is where." This is the coffee shop where
that's so cool.
I do have a reference for it. I did see the actual coffee shop. Yeah, I walked down the streets where they filmed it. I'm so
excited for that. Yeah, so you saw the Casablanca the balcony from it?
Yes, I think so. Cool. I did the Warner Brothers tour.
Fucking cool.
I went to visit my sister when she was living out there, and so we did that.
I love that. I get to go do that. That's my Monday.
Nice.
Yeah. So no. Yeah, that's the Warner Brothers lot, right? Yeah. Not the Universal lot.
Yes. The Universal one is more expensive, so we went to the Warner Brothers one.
Yeah. I'm doing both.
Nice.
Spare no expense for this full-time movie fan. So she works on the studio lot, but in the coffee shop.
Yes. Which I saw.
Which you saw.
I don't know if I mentioned.
And I'm going to see soon. We'll both have had a shared experience.
Yeah.
Connected to this movie. We'll both be connected to it then.
We'll have spent several meters in each other's golf carts.
What did you get at the Warner Brothers coffee shop so that I can get the same thing?
I don't think they were serving coffee out of the actual place where they shot.
It's a real coffee shop, though.
We saw the Friends couch, too. I got to sit in it.
So
I don't drink coffee.
She gets dejected by all of the auditions she's getting rejected by, and her roommates are like, "Hey, we're all going to a party. You should come with us. There's going to be a lot of Hollywood people there." And then they have a big old musical number that's about going to the party and the debauchery of the feudalism of Hollywood parties. Do you like those phrasings? Should I change them? The party's lit, but she's not having fun.
That's not from my generation.
That's not for his generation.
No.
All the cool kids were going, but none of the cool kids were there.
Gotcha.
That feel. So
that works.
So Mia ends up still staying pretty late to the party, but her car gets towed and she has to walk back home. She passes by a restaurant, piano bar, that she hears beautiful music being played out of, and she walks in, and there's Sebastian, who she has interacted with briefly on the highway once, and he is.
It wasn't a pleasant interaction.
No, he honked very aggressively, and she flipped him off.
Yeah,
and he's playing a beautiful, beautiful song that I think got snubbed for best song in a movie to another song in this movie that I think is not as good.
Yeah, your unbiased opinion.
My unbiased opinion is that La La Land won the Oscar for best original song in a movie, and it wasn't this one.
Yeah.
And I'm mad about that.
He hasn't shut up about it.
I really haven't. I know Jarvis is making a joke, but I bring it up as many times as possible. Me and Sebastian's theme is one of my favorites, probably all-time scores.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very pretty. But unfortunately for Sebastian, it was not on the set list. He was supposed to be playing Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
And he gets fired, and as he storms out, Mia's trying to be like, I just heard you play and it's so good, and he just completely blows her off.
Whoa.
So that's 2 interactions now that they've had that were not good together. And then the next thing that happens. Help me out, Jarvis.
I can't, man. You're Mr. I Love La La Land. I've seen it 15 million times. I saw it for the first time yesterday. Do you remember?
I think it's switched. No, it's her immediately doing more auditions.
Do you remember in the beginning of the episode when I called it Blah Blah Bland?
Yeah, did you fall asleep?
No, but
that would
I
have
also
explained it.
am not going to be able to help you recall things that you've missed.
Fair enough. So she's doing more auditions, and she's not getting called back to them. And she ends up going to...
Specifically, isn't that the scene where like she goes in and like says like 5 words and they're like, thank you?
No, well, yeah. It's that. It's like 3 or 4 different auditions, including the, no, Jamal, you be tripping, which I love a lot.
Yeah, dude, that was funny.
And then, yes, the one where she walks in and...
That was the last one that we saw that really put the nail on, like, she's hating this.
Yeah, but not before that doesn't happen before she goes to another party where he is a guitarist for a band.
Yeah.
And she recognizes him and requests Iran, which is a really shitty song for a pianist to have to play because it's like 4 notes the entire song.
Yeah, he was pretty upset about that. He was
so mad about it.
How dare you make me play that?
I'm a serious musician. Yeah. And so he corners her and is like, "Why would you do that?" And she is like, "Well,
she was making fun of him the whole time, having a good time." Honestly, like when I see Emma Stone doing that kind of thing, I'm like, she's just playing herself. Like,
for sure,
because like that's totally her, and I love that vibe
for sure. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, if you're so, haven't I seen you somewhere before?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm an actor." He goes, "What movies have you been in?" She said, "You probably see me at the coffee shop on the Warner Brothers lot." And he went, "Fair enough." And they have a little thing.
Yeah, they're kind of pooping on each other's jobs, and then I think she gets the last laugh when that other guy says, "Hey, I need you to do this. We got
another thing to do now," and he's like, he doesn't tell me what to do. I let him, which is also a funny line. And then as they're leaving, she uses him as an excuse to get out of a conversation with someone she doesn't want to talk to, and then they have a sweet little moment. Where they definitely were absolutely partying and not Griffith Park next to the Griffith Observatory, where you can overlook all of the city of Los Angeles. Yeah, because people just live in
teleport. Maybe they portaled there with their portal gun.
Yeah, with their portal gun from Lilo and Stitch,
or from the Portal games.
And they have a cute little dance number together, where they're doing like, "Will they, won't they" kind of thing. And they're about to kiss, and they don't because Emma Stone, Mia, she gets a phone call from her boyfriend.
Oops.
And then we get to her having a bad time with that audition, right? She gets off of work and then spills coffee on herself. And
let me say something real quick. This was one of those things. I don't know if I talked to you about it. No, I was talking to somebody about it. There's just this trope of like, if it's true love, it's the person that you meet while you're dating someone else in Hollywood. I think.
Oh yeah, that's a weird trope.
That it's like, yeah, you've got to cheat on your significant other, or true love is just around the corner, but it's not the person you're with. I don't.
Yeah, it's a weird trope that I also agree is just kind of bad.
And that's also a trigger for me in my life personally. So
okay. Well, good news is that before anything actually progressed, she broke up with the Stocks dude,
which usually doesn't happen, which I applaud.
Yeah, I also appreciated that because
usually they just,
Sybil is also not a fan of the cheating tropes, and so anytime that they actually like break up, she's like, "Yeah, this."
You know what
fine.
I think? I think it's the rich, powerful people in Hollywood just trying to
normalize
feel
things.
Better. Yeah, to be like, for sure. Oh, this is totally okay. Like
I do also have that conspiracy theory that it's all just there to try to normalize things that should not be normalized.
Yeah, to make them feel better about their own misgivings.
Yeah. And yes, she doesn't get the part on another shitty audition, and
was that the one that I was talking about?
Yeah, where she walked out and there were like 5 different versions of her, but she thinks they're all prettier and more put together and whatever. And so she's at work, and Sebastian shows up because he pays attention. And it's like, hey, are you on break anytime soon? She's like, yeah, in 10 minutes. And then they go walking at the Warner Brothers lot, talking about the things that they love about what they love. And Mia brings up the fact that she does not like jazz, and Sebastian cannot take that. So he immediately takes her to his favorite jazz place called the Lighthouse to explain how jazz is exciting and
in
fun.
this situation, I'm Mia and you're Sebastian, and you're trying to teach me the wonders of jazz, aka La La Land, this movie.
Yeah. Well, the thing
Show
I
me
like
the wonders
about both of their versions of passion for the things that they're passionate about is that Sebastian is the like stereotypical tortured artist, where it's like he loves the thing that he does and he's really good at it, but he can't like do anything with it. And so he is burdened by the fact that this is the thing that he loves to do. And Mia is kind of like a chaotic neutral version of it, where she's like, she wants to do the thing and she's going to do it the way that everyone says you should do it to try to get into it, which is the try and fail until one of them hits.
Yeah.
And she's getting worn down by it to the point where she's not enjoying it anymore.
Yeah, she's getting less and less willing to put herself out there.
Yeah.
To follow her dream.
So Sebastian cannot be stopped. He will always love this thing, no matter what. Like people could be like, hey, a doctor could be like, hey, you got to stop jazz or you'll die. He'd be like, great, I'll put me in a coffin.
If you keep playing the piano, your fingers will get cancer and you will die. And he's just like, well,
he's like, then I'll be playing with nubs in a coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, and she is probably the more majority of passionate artists, which is I love this thing until it wears me down enough to where I'm just going to give up and live life normally.
Yeah. Go finish their degree, get a normal job.
Yeah. Maybe think about it once or twice, like join community theater or something.
Have a midlife crisis in the middle of having
and then
3
try
or 4
again
kids,
at some point.
Leave her family to pursue the dream that she gave up on earlier because she's further along in life and has learned and feels more ready to tackle the things.
Just to have realized that if you had stuck with it longer ago, you would have had a better shot at it.
And now you've aged out of all the
didn't have to throw away your entire life.
And you've aged out of all the things you want, and Hollywood don't want you no more.
Yes. So that's
because you're in your mid-30s.
And so he makes a comment about he makes a reference to Rebel Without a Cause because he's an oldies guy. And she's never seen the movie, and he was like, oh, well, they're playing it at the Rialto if you want to go see it with me at some point soon. And she was like, yeah, I'd love to go do that. And so she goes and gets ready for their date.
Wait a minute. Wasn't she still out with her? Wasn't she out at the dinner with her boyfriend?
No, I'm getting to that. She was getting ready to go to this movie date, and her boyfriend shows up and is like, hey, my brother just landed. You ready for dinner? She's like, oh, shit.
So they hadn't broken up at that point?
No, not yet. No. She got asked out on a date, and she said yes.
She cheated. She planned to go out on a date with somebody else while she was still...
I am not even going to argue with you. She cheated. Absolutely, that's what happened. So, anyways, she's at the dinner, and she realizes that she actually hates everything about what's going on with this relationship, and she leaves in the middle of the dinner while they're talking mad shit about movie theaters, and I'm mad about that.
I like to call that her Mamma Mia moment.
I appreciate the Mamma Mia moment. I'll take that one.
She was like, Mamma Mia, this is not for me.
Yeah, and she's, here we go again.
I love it. It's so good.
So they go and they see the movie, and they're about to kiss, and the projectionist fucks up old footage, which we all love. Classic. And then they go sneak into the Griffith Observatory and have a little dance number.
This is the second time they've tried to kiss each other, and it's the
second time. But at the end of their little dance at the Griffith Observatory, they kiss.
Yeah.
And then it starts the next part of their story, which is I'll speed through it so we're not sitting here forever. Okay. He wants to open a jazz club in that place that he really loves, but he's broke. He doesn't have any money. And he wants to encourage her to follow her dreams in the way that he would do it, which is that if she can't get parts, she'll make a part for herself. So she writes a one-woman show, and she rents out a theater to do it in and is rehearsing it for months while he's encouraging her from a distance, thinking about what he would do if he could get a jazz club put together. And at some point, they go to the lighthouse to go listen to some jazz, and one of Sebastian's old school friends shows up. Keith
happens to be
it's John Legend.
Man, I wish I had a friend like John Legend.
And he said, "Hey man, I need a new pianist if you're interested." And
a pianist?
Keith embodies everything that Sebastian cannot stand about jazz. It's to him that's selling out and giving up. But it's a steady job, and it has the ability to turn what he loves into his dreams.
And he has a girlfriend.
And he has a girlfriend, and she has her dreams that she's pursuing. And even though she's kind of embarrassed about his job situation, she's really encouraging. But he thinks that it's time for himself to like knock himself down a peg, you know, and just lean a little bit more in that I could make money doing something I'm good at.
Have a steady gig. Make some money.
And so he goes to join Keith's band, and probably the like saddest scene, not like reality, but like the saddest like soul crushing scene is Keith sitting there going, and it's guys like you that are actually killing jazz to Sebastian. It's like, you don't want to get rid of the old way of doing things and move on to the new thing that's going to bring young people in and enjoy what we love, because you're too stubborn and you think you're too talented and you're actually not doing anything with it.
Yeah, John Legend.
Which was a crazy scene, because it's just him being berated for like 2 minutes and then just being like, yeah. And so they actually like hit it big. They got a record that they get to tour with, and it sounds, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. Right, but it's not jazz. And Mia goes to go see one of the shows, and also is like, it's pretty good, but I don't think this is what you want to do. But he's touring, and so they don't get to be around each other. And then we get to the scene that Jarvis says is bad because their conflict doesn't really exist. And I'll be honest, I went in the second time around, and I was like, I don't remember the conflict being that big of a deal. And then I watched it again, and I was like, no, actually, I feel like this is reasonable. So what's happening in that scene, just to break it down to its bare bones, he came back for a night and surprised her with dinner. She's 2 weeks out from her one-woman show, and he misses being around her and her encouraging him to be himself, and says, hey, why don't you come rehearse while we perform on tour? And she goes, I don't want to go do that. All of my stuff is here. This is where I'm doing it. This isn't the crux of the issue.
Okay, so but here's where I think this is where I think there could have been a compromise. She said 3 weeks out. Why not spend 1 week and then you've got 2 weeks to continue to prepare? Like, to me, I think that would have been a reasonable. Like, I think if he countered with that and said, well, you've got 3 weeks. What if you came out for 1 week? Or what if you came out for a working week day, like Monday through Friday, and like we can, at least have some time together.
And that would have solved the problem if that's what the argument was about. But that's not what the argument was about. The argument is, why does he feel comfortable giving up his dreams and trying to get her to do the same thing?
To give up her dreams?
Yeah. It's hey, why don't we both just settle down with what we got? And she did not get attracted to him because he was stable and wanted to settle down. She was attracted to him because of what he was passionate about. And he was attracted to her because of her pragmatic way of looking at what she wants to do, right? And so that's why he's doing this thing that he kind of doesn't like, but like is kind of a compromise in what he loves. And she looks at it as him giving up on his entire dream. Because what's he going to do? Is he going to continue to do this band and then eventually buy the place and then give up the band? Or is this like a temporary, hey, I'm going to get just enough money in the next like year or two and then go open up my jazz club? And for him, it was the long haul. This was the way to do things.
I still think that could have been a conversation.
They tried.
I think that could have been like, okay, like if you don't want to do this long haul, because that was his thing. He's like, long haul, like, we tour and we do this and then we do the next one and then we tour some more. Yeah. And for her to be able to say like, okay, like, is there still room for your dream? And if so, then what would that look like? If you make enough money to start investing in yourself, like, do you see that happening? Do you want to try that? You know what I mean? Like,
but here's the thing: is that this is what their character. This is a conversation that directly hits their character flaws for the both of them. His character flaw is that he has too much of an ego to not want to give up. In the moment that he felt like he was giving up to like compromise with somebody else, they came back and said, "Why'd you do that?" And hers is she doesn't know how to commit to her dreams wholeheartedly without feeling like she's just a failure.
But then she criticizes him for doing that, for being like her.
Because they both want to be like each other. He thinks that the right way to do it is to settle down, and she thinks that the best way is to go at it whole heart. So they're living each other's lives, and neither of them are equipped for that. Because they see it as giving up for each other.
They admire the opposite in the other. So then when one of them starts living the other one's life, they both see that as. So then they start to view their significant others as lesser.
Sort of, because it's like, why are you doing the thing that I know is wrong? Because it doesn't work.
Okay.
And the other one looks at one of them looks at the other and goes, because that's what I liked about you.
Okay.
You take it?
I received that.
Ugh. Gross.
You don't
gross
like that?
Phrasing. This is close. Is as good as like, I hear you, and I feel that.
Look, man, you are giving me part of yourself, and I am receiving yourself into me.
I'm calling HR. Anyways, so that conversation goes south, and she goes to have her opening night of her show, her only night of her show, let's be honest. And she's super nervous and goes out there and gives it her all. And Sebastian is getting ready to go support her, but forgot that there's some band photo shoot that he just decides, like, you know what? The band is more important in this moment because she doesn't believe in this anymore, I guess.
Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. He chooses correctly to go to Mia's thing.
Yeah.
Their relationship continues.
Yeah.
It's good?
Oh, I'll get to that when we get there at the end.
Well, okay,
I'll get to that because that's the whole ending, brother. It's the whole ending of the movie. He doesn't make it to the show. In fact, there was like 7 people total in the audience.
Yeah.
She doesn't have enough money to pay back the theater. She doesn't have a job. She has no prospects. So she says she's going home. She's going home. She's gonna go stay with her parents and I don't know, maybe get like a 9 to 5 in Nevada and live out the regular life.
She has a boyfriend that makes great money.
Yeah, but she broke up with him because he doesn't believe in her dreams.
Which is false, because he does.
Yes, but he also makes a bad choice to not just be like, hey guys, I'm actually not going to do the photo shoot. Bye. Which is like, that would create its own problems there.
I can relate to that.
You know, it's
I
like
I can connect with that, like feeling like a good person that just made some bad decisions.
Yeah.
And, you know, missed out on something because of it.
Yeah. Well, Sebastian's just kind of an asshole overall. So, of course, he's going to pick the thing that feels like he's getting the upper hand on somebody else, because that's his problem. That is one of his problems. Anyways, so he.
But you forget that balances out with the fact that he's incredibly good looking.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so he is. Incredibly.
Don't forget to mention that.
So he shows up she has that fit where she's like, I'm going home. I like this. We're done. This is over. And he says, I'll find a way to make it up to you. I will. And then he goes home, and he's obviously upset about all of his life decisions at this point. And he gets a call from a casting agency who's looking for Mia, and he said, she doesn't live here. Go away. Don't call here anymore. Casting. And remembers that, or part of her show is that, talking about how she lived in the house across from the library and wherever she lives. I don't remember. Yeah. And
real big fan of the show.
So he shows up to, it's not that important. And he shows up and he starts honking.
40 minutes ago, seen it 4 or 5 times since.
I have not watched it in like 5 years. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had not watched it probably since I made my first movie.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a while.
Oh, that's crazy. You made a movie?
Yeah, Jarvis. I mean, movies cool. We haven't any.
No big deal. That's our 500 episode special.
I don't even know when we're gonna get to 500.
500.
Is it 500?
Yeah.
Okay. It's either that or 1,000 subs. Those are the 2 options.
Yeah. 500 or 1,000. Help us get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
He shows up and he goes, "You have an opportunity," and she said, "I can't do that. That's it."
This was before she left.
It'd ruin it.
This was before she moved.
No, she did move.
Because
he showed up to her.
So he
parents'
flies
house.
out there.
No, he drives.
Yeah, because she. Yeah,
that's
what I said.
Yeah.
He travels.
And he
to where
said,
she is.
"You're gonna go do this," and she's like, "No, I can't. This will actually it would ruin me. Like I don't have
rejection.
I just can't do it." And he basically looks at her and goes, the line is quite literally, "You're a baby. You're a big baby."
Yeah. She took it really well too.
She didn't. Yeah, she took it so well.
Yeah,
and
she received the criticism. She processed it,
and she did not take it. She did not take it. And he says, "I'm going to be here 8:00 in the morning so that I can get you to your audition at 1. And if you're not out here, you're not out here." And that's it. And he shows up and almost drives off without her, but she just went to go get coffee for them for the long drive, because it's a long drive from Nevada to Los Angeles. Not that I know. I've never done it.
Yeah. Was it longer than the amount of time it took for them to get to the party to that overlook on foot?
Probably. That's funny. We don't even live there, and we know that. That's what's funny about it. So he gets her to the audition, and the audition is very sweet, and it's one of those moments in the movie where I'm like, this, like, out of context, is just kind of a cringe little song that's just happening. But it's...
Yeah, the story about her aunt.
Yeah, but it is the story of why she's so inspired into doing things, is that she saw her aunt, who was very, like, she would just go
living
and go do things. Very Sebastian-esque, living the dream and doing it just because, why else? And then they have a little talk outside of the where are we talk. What are we talk? And he says that, I don't know, but all I know is that when you get this role, you got to give it your all and do it. There's basically them breaking up because they can't pursue each other and their dreams.
Yeah.
At the same time. And then we get a time skip to 5 years later where she's a successful actress and she's married with a kid, and he has his own piano bar, his jazz bar.
Seb's with the music
Seb's
note.
with the music note, just like she wanted it. And and she's coming back from some award show with her husband, and they stop off to go eat, and they stop into the jazz club, and Mia and Sebastian see each other, and he starts playing the song that he played that night when they met. And it goes into this long, elaborate musical number that, look, it's basically the, like, what if he had made all of the right choices instead.
Yeah.
And the sad, beautiful part of this movie is that that the reality where everything worked out is not reality, and he did not pick all of the right choices, and he absolutely could have had everything. They both could have had everything that they wanted with their dreams and each other, but they don't. But they do get to live out their dreams. That's La La Land. So this is where I use my ace in the hole. What's it like to not have dreams? To just want a regular 9-to-5 job and a house, and that's it. You like living that life, Jarvis?
No, I do not. But it's one of those things where I don't know. I guess it is like the trope. So I do like the fact that it subverted expectations, because when it got to that scene, I was like, "Oh, here we go!" And then she leaves her husband to get back with the old flame, and
but that doesn't happen.
And it doesn't happen. So I was happy to see or not see that. However, whichever perspective you want to take on that, it reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with Star-Lord and Gamora, because like I secretly man, I just want them to be back together. They were good, you know what I mean? Like they loved each other.
Yeah, but it would just never be the same.
It wouldn't, and it was so funny because I did see that movie with my buddy Clint, who is real. Excuse me.
Guardians 3, not La La Land.
Guardians 3, yes, not La La Land. And we had a long conversation because I was like, just my life situation, I really connected with Star-Lord in that. And I was just kind of like, I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, how would he just not accept his reality and continue to pine for someone who doesn't want him anymore? That's so weird and unrealistic.
You did talk to me about that too.
Yeah. So that one, so that's what I'm saying is like, I connected with that. Like you connected with La La Land, but La La Land did not connect with me in my current like life situation. To answer your question, no, I don't want to just like live a 9-to-5 life for the rest of my life and not pursue my dreams. You know what I mean? And like want something bigger and better for me and for those around me. And
well, let me ask you this: what is the movie about? The relationship or their passions?
I mean, well, I think it's clear that it's about their passions, but at the same time, that's what I'm saying. I think the trope is that in most of these movies, the goal is the relationship. Like The Notebook, which is also a movie with Ryan Gosling in it. That out of all things, the dream is us together, whatever that looks like. And so I get it in the sense of it subverts expectations and doesn't go down that path. The Notebook is a movie I actually have seen like 5 or 6 times. And it's a movie that I like, and I think it is generally well liked, but you know,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I really like that movie. I also like the what's the one with Mandy Moore?
Tangled.
No, that's a good one too, though. But it's the one where she has, I don't know if you've seen it. She has cancer, and the boy is the cool jock, and he's dates her on a kind of a dare-ish type situation and falls in love with her.
Tangled.
Yes, that's the one. So I get it in the sense that it subverts expectations, but for me,
it's not about the subverting expectations. My point is that you don't identify with either of the main characters. You're not the strong-headed, passionate type that's like, this is I've known what I wanted to do for the rest of my life forever, and I'm good at it, and I will not compromise. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, no other way.
I mean, I can relate to that a little bit. Like the fact that I'm here doing this thing is, I think, proof of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, so here's the thing. Regardless of whether this becomes a successful thing and opens the doors for future things, I probably would do this for the rest of my life with you. You know what I mean? That's my commitment and my love for you. But this is something that's also fun for me. And this is something that allows me an avenue to be able to talk about movies and things I love. So.
I think that it's an important thing to bring up that there is. I'm gonna say this. This is me having actual on camera, but probably wouldn't want this on camera moment with Jarvis. I do not doubt your love for this and what you and I do at all. Yeah. Your passion for this is not at all the same as my passion for making movies.
Yeah.
They are two extremely different things.
Okay, but here's and getting real, like a bigger passion of mine that is underlined in us doing this is the potential ability to help you live your dream.
Yeah. No.
That is a bigger desire for me.
Yeah.
From doing this, that if it opens doors so that you and my friends and my family can live and enjoy life better than, to the fullest of their abilities. And for you and even my real friend Clint and even my aunt who's in California, like I want to be able to create opportunities to make movies. I want to be a part of that with you guys, because I do love movies. Maybe not to the extent that you do, or in a different way than you do, but I still want to, like, the true root and bud of my heart is to help people. And there are things, and movies are something that I'm passionate about in a different way, but I still want to be a part of whatever journey that means with you, Clint, my aunt. Like, I want to be a part of that because I do love movies, and I do think I have could bring some good insights. But like I said, the bigger thing is, like, this is something that I like to do, but it is in certain ways an engine for me to be able to help people in a wider, different sense.
Yeah, but I full-time movie fans is the hobby, not the end goal. It's the stepping stone. It's very. Correct. It is very Mia of you, is what it is.
Okay.
The Sebastian thing would be. You're actually, like, actively pushing
quitting
your way to do
all my
and just doing it.
Yeah.
And just doing it because it's all you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's very Mia of you to be pragmatic about it and go, if I can get this, then I can do the next part of it and then get to the next thing, which is what I actually want to do. Do I want to be a teacher in a shitty school drama? No. What I want to do is act in feature-length movies, right? Yeah. That's the thing. And
were you speaking as you or Mia?
Yes. And I think the thing that's important about this is the reason why I don't think it resonates with you is because you're not a Sebastian. And I don't even think you're a Mia, because the podcast is not the end goal. The end goal is helping other people with their Sebastian dreams.
I am their hypothetical child.
You are.
I'm pragmatic enough to know that I have responsibilities that require that I make money.
Yeah, and you pay your bills.
Yes,
yeah.
And then
yes.
But I also am,
which is important, and I'm not going to say it's not important.
And I'm also unwilling to just concede and say, you know what, I'm just going to do what I'm good at fully and maybe just work my way up and try to make a living and have a family a normal way, because this is me pursuing something that I love to do, hoping that it can be something that allows me to follow what my heart truly desires as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If it
we're almost there. We're almost there. So
he's getting the wires that he's connecting the dots with right now.
Yeah, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Would you say that Sebastian has a very clear end goal for his life? What does he want? What does Sebastian want for his life?
Yeah, I mean, he wants to do jazz music his way, the way he wants to do it.
And what is Mia's end goal with her life?
She wants to act, right? And she wants to be in love, and she wants to have her cake and eat it too. She wants all the things.
All right, here we go. What does Michael want with his life? Me right here.
You want to make movies.
Great. And what does Jarvis want for himself, for his life?
I want to help facilitate people being able to live their dreams and just make the world better.
Ooh, what's the key word there?
Help?
Other people.
Okay.
What's the Jarvis dream?
To be in a position to do that, to help other people.
And how does that help Jarvis? What fills Jarvis's soul personally about making sure other people get to live their dream? Which I want to make very clear while Jarvis is thinking about that. Jarvis's dream is not an incorrect dream. It is not an unreasonable dream. It's not a dream. What it is a very different thing that I do not think we're going to have the time to get into, which is a theory. This is a theory that I've had for a long time.
About me?
No, about people in general. You have artists and you have business people.
Yeah.
And business people don't do art because they don't. And artists can't do business because they're bad at it. Because they're good at art. They're not good at the practical.
Man, okay.
You hear what I'm saying?
Are you saying I lean more towards the business side?
I'm saying you lean more towards the business side. You want to lean more towards the making sure that the people don't have to worry about the other parts of it so that they can do the art. Is that an incorrect claim?
That's the picture of the canvas that I want to paint on.
So there you are, brother. You are the more of what I would consider the business side. And the reason you don't resonate is because this is a movie about two artists that want to pursue their dreams.
I mean,
and there's nothing about somebody in the middle of it facilitating their ability to do it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think in my head, I would hope that someone that I connect with would be the person that helps encourage me in the ways that, one, help me pursue my dreams, but also because, okay, my biggest thing in life is balance, is finding balance in everything. Being confident in the things that I'm confident that I feel right about, the things morally that I stand for, but also finding that balance to consider, hey, just because you think you've thought about this, well through, and you're so confident in your position that you could be wrong too. So you need to consider and be humble to accept others' opinions as well. So like balance is my big goal. And I
think you're totally fine with that. And you're right for it in a lot of ways. And that's part of what this movie's trying to explain, is that it's not, neither of them are right balance in their own way.
And there's no balance.
They both need to come to a realization that she needs to push a little harder, right, and have a little more faith in herself, and he needs to give in to the idea that he can't have his cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
that's kind of the idea. The movie is that they were right for each other in the wrong ways, and they both could have succeeded if they could have taken themselves out of the equation.
I think that's part of it. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the way my mindset is that, like, even, oh man, I don't want to get too much into that. I believe that people, if they have the right mindset and they have the ability to communicate their feelings and emotions well, that a middle ground can come to it. I think that there is that, what we saw in the end, there is that world where, that worked out for both of them, where they both still got to have their dreams and each other.
Yes.
So, but then when we see it, it's also, and this is another thing too, is like, but I'm not, because you have to ask yourself, are their lives as they are now less than because they are not together?
Yes.
But it's still,
that's the thing they gave up in pursuit of their dreams.
Yeah.
And the fact that they could have had it both ways.
So then let me ask you this then, since we're literally on the couch, so then how does this resonate with you? Do you feel like you've compromised, or do you feel the pains of compromise, or do you feel because both of those people, you would say that, okay, if you had to say Mia's more on the business side, but she still has that artist.
Oh no, they're both heavy artists. But they're both heavy artist side.
But she's
just pragmatic.
Yes. Okay. Pragmatic. So then, what was it specifically that spoke to you about this? Because, and I understand the setting in which you watched this, and it just spoke to you on a more personal level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just for me, to reiterate, I do what I know I have to do because I have to. But that doesn't mean I'm not willing to do what I can in the moments to pursue what I want, which is what this is about. I mean, I'm investing a lot of time, energy, and money to make sure that I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, for you guys. And for me.
It's for him.
And for him.
And for me. It started out being for him. And as we get through it more and more, it's about us.
Well, it's always, I mean, to be honest with you, it's always been about, in a sense, you.
That is, as we're talking about it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is true. That is what,
like,
in essence, it is.
I believe my purpose is to hopefully impact the world in a positive way with the people that are even just in my vicinity, people that I would consider close friends, people that I would consider ohana.
He's going to give me up to the state.
No, the animated version, the original version of ohana.
Okay,
And yeah, just everybody, even people that I'll never meet. I hope that the things that I do impact other people's lives that I may never even meet in a positive way.
Yeah.
Through the things that I am trying to accomplish, which we talked about that a little bit beforehand, and I won't get into that on the internet. But
the answer to you, Jarvis, of how this resonated with me is that believe it or not, I am much more the Sebastian type.
Yeah.
But understanding that, going into it, looking at the movie.
Do you see this as a side quest, or do you see
this as personally?
Yeah.
No, it's just something to do.
Just something to fill the time.
It validates the $60 a month I give to Adobe for my Premiere Pro subscription.
Okay, so this is validating editing your investments. Okay, I got it.
I mean, it's the reason why the camera's here. The new one, it's all of this stuff. It is facilitating my ability to make more things. Does that make you happy to hear?
So then, let me ask you this then, because some places I know don't have these types of things. Mm-hmm. So then, this is the access road.
Sure, yeah.
In the direction that you're trying to head, but it's not the main. It's not the main road.
Yeah,
I see this as the main road for you.
Oh, okay. And hey, guess what? You can get to the destination using the access road too.
You can.
And so either way, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm not stressing it either way. But the answer is that I looked at the story through both lenses, both Mia and Sebastian's, and I went,
hey, I need a double connection to.
Well, I knew that if I continued going headstrong into it, because like my whole family is very art minded, and not to diss on my siblings, but they went the Sebastian route and went full into it and just wanting to do it full on, and now they don't get to do it nearly as much as they used to because they have to focus more on life, and so I decided to
burn Michael's siblings.
So I decided to take a different route than
the access road.
Than the access road. Well, they tried to take the highway.
Yeah,
right? And the highway jammed halfway up, and their car broke down because they didn't take care of that.
They hit that never-ending San Antonio road construction.
Yeah, or the Los Angeles highway traffic. Either way you want to look at it.
Or that huge, what was it, like freaking month-long traffic jam in China?
Oh God. I didn't know about that, but that's crazy. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah, because they had a 50-lane road that went into like 3 or 4 lanes or something like that.
So yeah, maybe let's not make those. But yeah, so I took not like a full step back. Obviously, I made a movie straight after I dropped out of college, but I take care of my life as it is so that I have a good foundation to be able to do the other things off.
So then do you see yourself as a balance between Seb and Mia?
No. No, I think my problem is I don't know where that balance is, because right now I'm taking more of I'm just going to do some small things every once in a while, write a project, see what comes of it. but I don't know where the jumping in point is at this point. You know what I'm saying? So
That
I
sounds
want
like the
to
middle
jump
road
in.
to me. That sounds.
I
like,
want to jump in
to me.
At
That
any
sounds like,
point, and I just can't.
That sounds like my
figure it out.
life. Like that sounds. I feel like that you're explaining my life too. Like I'm doing what I have to in the meantime, reaching out towards my dreams where I can.
Oh yeah. But my point was that you don't connect with the movie because your pursuit of dreams isn't about yourself. That was my point.
Because I'm pursuing everybody else's dreams.
Because you're pursuing everybody else's dreams and more.
Nice. That was very good.
Thank you.
I really like that.
Thank you.
That was really good. Yeah, man.
That was the point, is that this movie isn't about you. That's the point.
Yeah.
The movie is about what you're trying to fix the problem of.
Yeah, true. You know what? I'm starting to, I can kind of see that because like my thing is like, I think what I saw in the end was they could have had both. And I think but I guess you could say that, that's realistic.
That was the point. The whole point was that they could have had both.
Yeah.
But they didn't know how to do that.
And they're perfectly okay without each other.
Yeah. They'll both live without each other. And know that they're both doing their thing. And that's good enough for each other. For themselves, they're living it. But
so it's happy and it's sad.
Yeah. It's a sappy ending.
So it's a good movie and a bad movie.
Well, it doesn't have having a sad ending doesn't mean it's bad.
Well, I mean,
so my wife would disagree with me on that point, but
well, that's what I mean. Like it's a good movie because of the things that you like, but it's also a bad movie because of things I didn't connect with.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter because they're both good and bad.
That's correct.
Just like both of their lives.
Yep.
Agree to disagree on this movie.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
But
I'm just saying it's not for you.
So then we're agreeing to disagree about that.
I don't know what we're disagreeing on, Jarvis. I'm sitting here saying the same thing you are. You said you don't like that movie, and I said, yeah, it makes sense.
Fair. But you know what? But okay, but this also goes to a heart of the things I like. Because you know what? Going back to like the heart of my motivations is the reason I love movies is because they're about people. They're about our feelings and our emotions, ways that we can connect with other people that we may never meet, but because somebody could watch this and feel exactly the way I feel about it, and more people will watch it and feel the way you feel about it. Mm-hmm.
And apparently more people lean towards my side than yours, but we'll get to that with the box office numbers in a second.
Yeah. And so, but this also goes to the heart of what I love is that we get to have conversations and I get to learn more about you. I get to learn more about me.
Yeah, this one feels a lot more classic full-time movie fans. Season one of full-time movie fans than
but that's
previous.
The heart of it is like I love hearing other people's stories and their perspectives. Mm-hmm. And like, even if I ultimately disagree, I can take the nuggets of like the pieces of gold that you found that I missed.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate those things for you. And I get joy from that as well. Even though it may not have spoke to me directly, knowing that it spoke to you directly is still good enough for me. Like I love that this movie was made. I love that we get to be here and talk about it. Like I just love all the aspects of it. So
better or worse than the Emoji Movie?
Oh, hands down better than the Emoji Movie. Absolutely.
Changed his mind. You heard my actual ace in the hole.
You're just going to clip it and edit that? Here's the clip. I actually do love this movie.
Yes, we did it. We did it, everybody.
Now you just cut out all the other stuff and just put that at the end. And
all right, I'm going to give you one number, and then you have to guess how much it made. You ready?
Okay.
They made it with $30 million. Which, by the way, pretty good for $30 million.
Okay. So I guess I'm going to say it made 300 mil? 4? 6? 500.
500 mil.
500 mil.
Off of 30.
That's a great ROI, return on investment. That's business speak, which apparently I'm really good at.
Sure. Yeah, you know what? Call him Jarvis Businessman.
Jarvis, aka businessman.
Yeah.
I every day I just go out and try to do as many businesses as possible.
Hi, I'm Jarvis. I do business.
I'm trying to do a business right now. Sometimes
That's
I
good.
get in trouble for not minding my own business, though.
Call Jarvis for your business.
You know what?
He
the
will
way
do
I see
it.
The way I see it is, I don't feel business minded. I feel people minded.
That's the reason why my analogy doesn't really work.
My investments is not like banking. It's people.
Yeah, it's like my dad is another person that I use as an example for the business minded, which we'll have to figure out a new phrase for because it's not really business. Yeah. But that's the easiest way to think about it, right? You got the people who make the thing and the people who fund the thing.
Yeah.
My dad is the same way. He's not.
I think funding the thing is fun.
I don't disagree. If I could just take like $500,000 out of a bank and go make a movie with it, that'd be awesome. So if any rich people want to donate to my direct endeavors, that'd be great.
Yeah. Email us.
Is that the right business way to do it, Jarvis? Is to email?
To reach out to us. I mean, because the email address is on the channel, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's fair.
I think that unless you want to
email us,
unless you want to put your home address so that they can mail you or
call
your
Jarvis's phone at.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless you want to dox, we could dox ourselves and they can reach out to us that way.
Write me a letter. Write the check to my address. The address is right here on the screen.
We're gonna pin it. We're gonna pin it in the comments. Actually,
yeah. And if you don't get a good, like if you write it wrong or something, you can always use Jarvis's. Jarvis's address is this one.
Not putting that up there. But yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
my arbitrary rating is buy it on DVD, rewatch it like once a year. It's worth that to me.
I'll say this. I will concede that it's a rewatchable movie.
Okay.
I'll concede that. But not for me.
That's fair. That's fine. Yeah. Game night exists.
Yeah, I'll just rewatch that instead of La La Land.
You like how I turned game night into a slur right here at the end?
Oh man,
it's like I'm saying something bad to you.
I love it but
it's not.
It's a jab, but I do love.
But
game
it's
night.
It's an honest jab. It's not even like a mean one. It's I have La La Land. You have game night.
Yeah,
it's just how it is. It's not. I will also not say it like. If you tell me that you love a movie that I think was just silly, like Game Night, I won't Last Night in Soho it to you, where I'm like, you're just objectively wrong. It's just a bad movie.
Well, I think we can focus on the movies that we both love, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Somebody that I know is watching it for the first time tonight. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you going to be there?
No.
Oh, they get it raw and unfiltered?
Yeah, but we're going to talk about it as soon as they're finished with it.
That's cool.
Yeah, very exciting. I think they're gonna love it because there's no reason not to love that movie. It's
like the perfect movie.
Yeah.
Unless you're Kevin and you don't like it for the reasons that I won't air out right now, but
we don't care about that.
Kevin's wrong, just to let everybody know.
Yeah.
I have flat out told him he's just wrong about that one.
Oh yeah, for sure. That movie is fantastic. I could
in every single way.
Yes, in everywhere that it's shown,
all at once.
Oh, I love this. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. This was La La Land. We hope you're. I will not utter that phrase that I uttered at the beginning of this anymore to you.
Thank you.
You have grown me in that way. I will not use that. Slur to describe it anymore. But this has been La La Land. This is Full-Time Movie Fans. And we hope your day's everything you dreamed it'd be and more. And we will catch you in the next one.
Now I have to go cancel my trip to La La Land. Because Jarvis doesn't like it. Hey, Full-Time MFers. You like this video? Because we sure did. If you liked it, maybe you should share it with your friends. Maybe like the video and subscribe.
If we were you, that's what we would do. If I was watching this,
I'd be all over that.
Like, and I'd hit that share, and then I would hit that subscribe in that order.
Yeah. There's also another video that's popped up. YouTube thinks you like this one, so you should watch that one now.
See you next time.